Hello and welcome to the Niall Fraser Show, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining me tonight. And we've got a packed show tonight. Number 3 of the Niall Fraser Show, the pride comes before the fall. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This show, we have the SNP Equalities officer jailed for blackmail. We dive into exactly what this man done. Also, we've got the police in Scotland being paid, if you can believe it or not, to attend Pride marches. Unbelievable stuff. Then we take a trip over to Ireland to see how the globalist takeover is going, with more migrants arriving in villages right across Ireland. Lots of things happening over there now. And then we've got more money going to Ferguson Marine. It's just endless sums of money going to Ferguson Marine at this point. And then at the back of 10 or so, we've got John Watt on to discuss Jackie Baillie's comments about the anti-vax conspiracies. I've bought the papers so you don't have to. All of that coming up on the Niall Fraser Show, ladies and gentlemen. But first, the intro. Such an incredible intro video that is, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure you all agree. And get this broadcast shared. This is rookie numbers. We're not even at 100 yet, guys. Please do me a favour and share the broadcast. Before we dive into any stories, congratulations is in order, ladies and gentlemen, because last week, if you were watching, we had basically a whole last segment was talking about golf. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Our man from Oban has won the Scottish Open. So here we are. We're going to watch it right now.
For the title. Yes! Great Scott! McIntyre takes his National Open. I wasn't sure it was ever going to get there, but they're storming toward the green. It's an amazing scene here at the Renaissance Club. A 3-3-3 finish.
Both players holding miraculous putts on the 18th green.
Dripped into the cup in a most dramatic way.
Just incredible scenes rewatching that. And I mean, you can just hear the roar in the people as that putt fell in. But who was there? But your old dad. I was there, my very first golf tournament, guys. I even got some footage of my own. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, where is it? The golf. Incredible scenes, ladies and gentlemen. My first golf tournament, and I witnessed history and picked myself up a little memento. Thank you very much. Right, let's get diving into the stories, guys. Let's get diving in. So we've got such a wide variety of stories tonight, but the first and probably the most important, the one I've been tweeting about the most, a man by the name of Cameron Downing, equalities officer for the SNP, jailed for 6 years on a custodial sentence and given a 3-year community order as well. So we're going to dive into exactly what this guy did, and warning, this is quite graphic. I'm going to share the screen and I'm going to see if I can get I'm going to get this up and I'm going to read through it. Okay, can I read that? Hopefully you can all hear me, right? So HMA, Her Majesty's Advocate versus Cameron Downing. So bear in mind, this guy was a long-serving equalities officer for the SNP. Let's see what he done. At the High Court in Edinburgh, Judge Stirling imposed an extended sentence of 9 years on Cameron Downing after the offender was convicted of 10 charges. 10 charges, including assault, sexual assault, domestic abuse. This sentence comprised a custodial term of 6 years and 3-year extension period in the community. And there is a warning, guys. This may be distressing, and I'll put out a warning right away. This may be distressing. On sentencing, Judge Stirling said, Cameron Downing, on 14th of June 2024 at the High Court in Edinburgh, you were convicted after trial of 10 charges of assault, sexual assault, and domestic abuse against people who were your friends or your partner. The most serious charges were the domestic abuse charge against your partner, which included your falsely accusing him of having anally raped you, and you're successfully blackmailing him about that to be in a sexual relationship with you, including oral and attempted anal intercourse and masturbation. You're physically assaulting him and your control of his social media applications. So this guy's basically taken over his life. It's just incredible. You were also convicted of sexually assaulting him by performing oral sexual intercourse on him while he was intoxicated with alcohol and incapable of giving or withholding consent. You were convicted of sexually assaulting 4 other people who were your friends. 3 of them young women and 1 of them a young man. You were convicted of physically assaulting 4 young women who were your friends, 2 of them to their injury. You are now 24 years old. So this guy is a young guy. How can this guy be so messed up at such a young age? You have no previous convictions. I note from your criminal justice social work report that you do not accept the verdicts other than the physical assault on the young woman in charge 13. You gave the social worker some explanations and minimised your involvement in the offences. You claim that 2 of the women conspired to get 1 of the young men to report you to the police for sexual assault. You claim that 2 of the other women were encouraged by another friend to make false reports to the police. You also maintained your claim that you had been raped by the complainer in the domestic abuse charge, despite the jury having found that you had falsely accused him of rape. You did not show remorse, and you did not identify any impact on your victims. So this, no remorse, the judge is saying here. The report also tells me that you were brought up by your parents alongside your younger brother, and that you have had very positive relationships with your immediate and extended family. A serious incident in your childhood led to you receiving social work support due to the trauma of that incident. I wonder what that incident was, ladies and gentlemen. I wonder what that incident was. The incident caused the family financial difficulties. Your parents both had long-term health issues. They visit you frequently in prison. You are single. You did well at school and went on to college. In particular, you've undertaken courses in acting. He definitely belongs in the SMP, guys. He's doing acting courses. You have had a variety of jobs and have been able to support yourself financially. You have had some physical and mental health issues, and you have misused alcohol and substances, as I'm sure a lot of them do. In terms of the risk assessment specific to domestic offending, you present with issues concerning threats, intimidation, and physical and sexual violence. You present with distorted views regarding intimate partner violence, and you have shown no remorse or insight into how your actions may have affected your victim. This is clear-cut psychotic, guys. Clear-cut psychotic. In terms of the risk assessment specific to sexual offending, you scored in areas including hostility towards women, lack of concern for others, sexual preoccupation, and deviant sexual preference. You have been assessed as being a high-risk individual for sexual reoffending. You have relationship deficits. I think that's an understatement, Judge. An understatement. And have been manipulative, as well as showing a callous disregard within your friendship groups. Your offences are likely to have caused significant psychological and physical harm to all your victims, and their psychological recovery from your actions could be prolonged. You present with a high likelihood of causing serious harm, both sexual and violent, as well as controlling behaviour within the context of intimate relationships. The likelihood of reoffending is not exclusive to men, and you are in an intimate relationship with, but includes adult women known to you. You have the capacity to cause physical and sexual harm, as well as emotional and psychological distress. Your risk is not currently manageable in the community. I have taken into account everything said by Mr. Meehan KC on your behalf. Custody is the only appropriate disposal, having regard to the serious nature of your offending. So this is her basically saying, you have to go to jail. I'm sorry, Cameron, you have to go to jail. You are not safe. The community is not safe. I'm also satisfied, having considered the terms of the report, that the terms of an ordinary licence will not be sufficient to protect the public from you on your release. In the circumstances, I'm going to impose on a sentence which is in 2 parts. The first part, the custodial element, will be one of imprisonment for 6 years. That will not be the end of your sentence, because when you are released, the second part of your sentence will come into play. The part known as the extension period will be of 3 years. During that period, you will be subject to the conditions of a licence set by Scottish ministers, and any breach of the conditions could see you liable to be returned to prison to serve the remainder of your sentence. So the sentence is an extended sentence of 9 years, of which the custodial part is 6 and the extension part is 3 years. The breakdown of the sentence is as follows. This is the sentence, guys. This is the most important part. On the domestic abuse charge, charge 12, which features a significant sexual element, and on charge 10, a cumulative extended sentence of 9 years comprising 6 years custody with a 3-year extension. On the other sexual offence charges, charges 4, 8, 16 and 18, a cumulative sentence of 2 years, which I will make concurrent with the extended sentence, having regard to the totality of the sentence being imposed today. On the assault charges 3, 13, 17 and 19, a cumulative sentence of 2 years, which I will again make concurrent with the extended sentence, having regard to the totality of the sentence imposed today. The custodial element of the extended sentence will be backdated to June the 14th, 2024, when you are remanded in custody on conviction. As a result of the sentence, you will be subject to the notification requirements for an indefinite period. Your name has already been intimated to the Scottish ministers for addition to the list of persons deemed unsuitable to work with vulnerable groups. I am also going to impose to you a non-harassment order preventing you from approaching, contacting, communicating with, or attempting to do any of these things in relation to your former partner, the complainer on the domestic abuse charge, for an indefinite period. The reasons for the sentence include punishment, protection of the public, and rehabilitation. Makes pretty grim reading, doesn't it? So this guy was the equalities officer at the SNP. So again, I wish I had a picture of him and Nicola Sturgeon. Let me see if I can bring up my X, so I can share that with you all. I will share this tab instead. Here we are. Been tweeting a lot today. Sorry, guys. I've been tweeting a lot. Where is he? Where is he? There he is. How many sexual predators does Nicola Sturgeon have to be photographed with before we consider it a pattern? This is a question that everyone wants answered, because Nicola Sturgeon hasn't just been photographed with this gentleman. Sorry, I take it back. Not a gentleman at all. In fact, he's a deviant. Cameron Downing in the background there, photographed with Nicola Sturgeon, and it's all smiles, guys. All smiles. It's really quite sinister. But how many constitutes a pattern? How many? I see we've no comments in. Get the comments in. Here we are, Ian, with the first comment. Equalities officer, what a disgrace. Exactly, it diminishes the word equality. And was he using his position to further his sexual appetite, so as to speak? You know, again, guys, we're not even at 300 viewers yet. We're at 260. Get this broadcast shared. Get it shared, please. Do me a favor. Get these rookie numbers up. Sorry, I'm looking at all my messages now. Shouldn't do that. I should not do that. Stop sharing. Okay, we're back. Right, so that covers Cameron Downing, right? And the next story we want to cover is Police Scotland. As if Police Scotland couldn't get any worse, ladies and gentlemen. As if they couldn't get any worse. We have the story today in the Scottish Daily Mail. Police pay officers to join Scots gay pride marches. Let me read that again. Police pay officers to join Scots gay pride marches. Rank and file staff accuse top brass of setting a dangerous precedent over an overstretched force. So remember that when you try to phone the police because your window's been smashed, or your car's been broken into, or there's some sort of crime happening, remember that when they say, "Oh, I'm sorry, we can't do it." They're getting paid to attend pride marches, guys. Where are their priorities? Clearly, their priorities are maintaining this political aura that they are somehow fuzzy and warm because they love the rainbow. They love pride, ladies and gentlemen. Why? Why is this happening? Why? Ian Gibson again. The SNP are all deviants. Well, it certainly seems that way, Ian. Amanda wants to make prison single sex. They should already be single sex. Thanks for everything you do. No, it's a pleasure, Amanda, and I won't be stopping for anyone. And you'll see on the paper as well a picture of Trump. We've got the video of his assassination. It would be remiss of me not to cover that as well. So let's just have a wee read of the police being paid, ladies and gentlemen, to join pride marches. How many rainbows do we have to walk under here in Scotland? They're everywhere. They're everywhere. Rank and file staff accused top brass of setting dangerous precedent for overstretched boss. Scotland's police officers will be paid to take part in pride parades, despite the force cutting back on fighting crime. Honestly, I mean, I see. You would think, see if you picked up this paper, see if you were a time traveller and you came back to this time and you picked up this paper, you'd immediately time travel back. You'd be like, oh my God, we're in dystopia, ladies and gentlemen. This is the home of enlightenment, Scotland. Not anymore, it isn't. Not anymore. Uniformed officers are being urged to represent the overstretched force at LGBTI events in exchange for either pay or a day off in lieu. Oh, I bet a lot of them are wanting a day off, guys. I bet a lot of them. While hundreds will already be on duty at the parades, police chiefs have requested that other officers join to show support for the marchers. To show support. It isn't enough that we've got almost every state primary school in Scotland doing mock pride marches. It isn't enough. It isn't enough that they're sponsored by unions. It isn't enough that we've got the First Minister himself going on a stupid open-top bus at the pride events. It's not enough. We need to pay police officers to show support. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? What is going on? Tell me in the comments. What do you think? And I'll go through the big tweet I made about this because I know what I think, but I want to know what you think. Police Scotland have lost the plot. Outrageous. The Flower of Scotland, you are so bang on about it. They've lost the plot. And whoever is in charge of the police, they've also lost the plot. The astonishing move will also be seen. We'll see plain-clothes officers on light duties being given special pride badges. Let me say that again. Let me say that again. Just to let it sink in. Just let this sink in. The astonishing move will also see plain-clothes officers on light duties given special pride badges. What are they going to do? Police Scotland, rainbow. There'll just be a rainbow badge. What is happening here in Scotland? What is happening? The comments that are coming in thick and fast. Thanks so much for the comments. Keep them coming in. We'll get them up on screen. The move comes after Police Scotland shelved inquiries into minor crimes as it battles a financial black hole as the lowest number of officers in 16 years. So they're battling a financial black hole, ladies and gentlemen. But they still find the money to pay for stupid pride badges, special police pride badges. You still find the money for that. They'll still find the money to pay officers to have a day off and not fight crime, but they'll pay officers to go and show support for the marchers at Pride, guys. It's outrageous. Outrageous is the word. Outrageous is the word, Flower of Scotland. Turn to page 4, it's telling me. Oh, we've got some pictures. Oh my days. Oh my days, Lorraine. Oh my days. Oh, see that? See that? Oh my God. See, I buy the papers so you don't have to. Officers have accused top brass of setting a dangerous precedent by paying officers to take part in a highly political parade. Highly political, in quotes, is absolutely correct. The rainbow, it's not an apolitical thing anymore. The rainbow represents a political movement. And this is the thing. The police have got a duty to be apolitical. Schools have got a duty to be apolitical. Institutions across Scotland have got a duty to be apolitical. And yet, they're all waving the pride flag as if it means nothing. As if it's nothing. No, it's highly, highly damaging. Damaging it is. Callum Steele, the former General Secretary of the Scottish Police Federation, SPF, said, moving to a situation where officers are paid to march is an astonishing development and has to raise questions over the effective use of resources. You can say that again, Callum Steele. You can say the effective use of resources. I couldn't think of a more ineffective use of police resources, quite frankly. Let's go on. David Kennedy, the current SPF General Secretary, representing officers, said police participation in parades was not a priority for the troubled force. He added, Police Scotland is setting a dangerous precedent as to what events they should and shouldn't support in this manner. Absolutely. The police service is absolutely overstretched. They are not answering routine calls, and members of the public are having to wait over 20 minutes for a 101 non-emergency calls to be answered. You phone the police and you wait 20 minutes. 20 minutes for them to be answered. And yet, they're finding the money. They're finding the time. They're finding the time to come up with all these gimmicks to make them all fuzzy and nice. Oh, we've got a wee rainbow badge. We're flying a wee rainbow flag. Look at how nice we are. What are they, the panda force? What are they, the panda police? No, they're the police force. They're supposed to police. They're supposed to catch criminals. They're supposed to fight crime. This is a crime. The priority must be to make sure that frontline resources are kept to a maximum level and are fully supported. The revelations appeared in an internal Police Scotland memo by Assistant Chief Constable Tim Mears, which has been sent to the Mail. It calls for officers to sign up to represent the force at Pride events in Glasgow, West Lothian, Oban, and Stirling in the coming months. 4 places across Scotland, there's going to be 4 marches. As if we've not had enough. As if it wasn't just Pride Month a month ago. Endless. It's endless, ladies and gentlemen. They want you choking on rainbows. Absolutely choking on them. The memo sent to divisional commanders promises officers a shift change or a day back in will be provided for those participating in line with the regulations. Tim Mears' memo said it was recognised that this Pride is a community engagement opportunity. Therefore, participation will be considered a duty day. He added officers will parade in full uniform and modified light duty officers taken off the front line because of injury or suspension will wear plain clothes with a Pride badge supplied to show their affiliation to policing. So not only are we finding the time to get a modified badge, we're supplying the badges to them, and we're getting injured officers who have either they've got a day off, or they're injured, or they're recovering from an injury, and we'll get them out on the streets. We'll get them out on the streets instead of recovering and getting them back to the frontline police service and first. We'll have them out marching with a pride flag. How utterly despicable, guys. Let's look at some comments while we're passing through the papers. Our taxes are paying for this waste of resources. Who do we complain to? Send the complaints to John Swinney. And in fact, Joe Farrell She is the chief of police. Brought up for England, no doubt. Why? Why do they do this to us all the time? Are they trying to make us insane? It's working on me. It frankly is. Right, so I think you get the point with this story here. But it really does get on my goat that our money, just like Flower of Scotland saying, our money, it's not their money to play about with, it's our resources here, it's our police force. They should not be given time to go and march under the banner of this rainbow flag. And this rainbow flag has come to represent the worst, the absolute worst in our society. And again, take a look back. Just a moment ago, I mentioned Cameron Downing. He is a prime example of someone who uses this all fuzzy, I'm LGBTQ, I'm all fuzzy and warm, and then he's blackmailing folk and he's sexually abusing folk. What is going on? He hides behind the rainbow like an invisibility cloak, like a lot of them do. So what we're going to do, I'm going to go back to my big tweet. I made a big tweet yesterday. Was it the day? Might have been the day. Could have been yesterday. But basically, I'm just going to tell you like it is, ladies and gentlemen. Honestly, I'm sick and tired of it. It's too much for me to bear at this point. Where is it? Here we go. I'm going to share this page as well. How do I? Sorry, guys, I'm still getting used to the whole format of streaming. Right, so I'm just going to read this to you, but effectively, it's unbelievable that this tweet exists. This tweet this is the tweet in question, right? Karen Adam, MSP. Pedophiles and predators are people too. Not bogeymen hiding under the sheets. No, not Mac wearing flashers in the street, faceless and nameless. They are our family, friends and colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. They are not scary monsters. They are people who abuse. It's uncomfortable to humanize them because I don't need to read any other part of that. Now, I'm asking, why does this tweet exist in the first place? This tweet exists to normalize the worst aspects and the most evil aspects in a society today. It would seem to me that the SNP's predilection for sexual deviants and abusers, that there is a paedophile ring at the heart of the Scottish Government, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I truly believe, and it is consistent with what we're seeing right across our schools in terms of the rainbow indoctrination, right? It's plain as day to me that this is what's happening. Plain as day. The close ties with LGBT Youth Scotland, despite the fact they housed the ringleader of Scotland's largest ever paedophile ring as their CEO. This charity, LGBT Youth Scotland, when that was uncovered, should have been dissolved, disbanded, never to return. And yet here it is again, rallying back. Why? Why are we allowing this to happen? Why? Again, and the persistent attempts at the ScotGov driving a wedge between parents and their children. This is it, ladies and gentlemen. Remember the named person scheme. Remember, we've got this new trans ideology where parents don't need to be notified by teachers if their child is going through transition. A transition that the idea of this has been implanted in the child's mind in the first place. It's an alien idea. It's an alien concept. If my child was to come back to me and say, "Oh, Dad, I think actually I'm a girl. I'm not a wee boy," I'd say, "Who the hell told you that? Who the hell told you that?" Because it is an alien idea. It's an alien concept. If children were just allowed to be, that would never enter their brain. Never, never, never. Remember, get the comments coming in, guys. We're hitting it hard tonight. We're hitting it absolutely hard. And it wasn't too long ago that we had the Magic Circle case involving top Scottish lawyers and judges. Watch the documentary on BBC iPlayer, The Magic Circle. Just watch it and you'll understand just how bad it is. And then Operation Planet. I just learned about this one today. that was launched after finding a 16-year-old boy in a central Edinburgh flat who was held for 10 days. 10 days. And repeatedly drugged and raped. Initially being the operative word here, it was 57 charges brought against 10 men, which was later reduced to 10 charges against 5 men. And then all of a sudden, all their not guilty pleas were all accepted. So all of a sudden, it's went from 57 charges against 10 men to nothing, no action, nothing happening. Does that strike you as odd? Does that strike you as strange? Does that strike you as the law functioning as it should? No, it doesn't to me. Right. And here we go. This is where I'm just going to lay it out for you guys. And a lot of you will probably all know this already, but a paedophile ring is the ultimate protection racket. Huge untold sums of money involved in child trafficking, and the extreme nature of the crimes creates the perfectly controlled individual who'll stop at nothing in order to avoid being exposed. They'll do and say anything their controller demands. Again, this is it. And it's a conspiracy of silence, ladies and gentlemen. Anybody involved in the ring will never turn on each other. Never. Because immediately they can just point fingers at each other. And anyone who has the balls, the gumption to go up against these paedophile rings is putting themselves in extreme danger, ladies and gentlemen. And I mean, I've done some of my own citizen journalism and citizen investigations into these types of things and spoken to a lot of people about this. And a lot of people they know, they tell us there's a paedophile ring operating and just say it's Edinburgh City Council or Glasgow City Council or even Holyrood itself. And yet they do nothing. Why? Fear, ladies and gentlemen. Because these people will murder, maim, accuse, blackmail. They'll do anything to avoid being exposed. And that is why these paedophile rings are so dangerous, because they'll do absolutely anything. They'll stop at nothing. And for Scotland to heal and recover, we must, and I can't stress this enough. I really can. And this is, I think I will probably likely run in 2026, but this is probably the message that I should be putting across, is that in order for us to heal, we have to purge this evil from our land indefinitely as a matter of urgency. And I put it to you, the viewer, and see when you understand the sort of inner workings of addiction. I've been illuminated to the fact of this through conversations with Anne-Marie Ward. When you're talking about ACE scores, most of the hardened addicts have ACE scores, adverse childhood experiences, which equates to childhood sexual abuse, right? So I put it to you that in order to solve, we're going to kill two birds with one stone with this, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to solve, not entirely solve, we're going to put a massive dent in our addiction crisis here, a massive dent, by attacking and dismantling and jailing everybody involved in these paedophile rings. That's what's going to happen. It's going to have a knock-on effect, and everybody is going to get so much more positive when we jail these people. I'm sure of it. And again, it's so sad. I just had to put this wee bit in the tweet as well. It's so sad that most of these people that are getting drugged, abused, they're getting taken from care backgrounds. You think this is, again, it's so obvious to me, and it's a shame that it's children for care backgrounds that have got no guardians to protect them. That's the truth of the matter, because nobody's going to come after these people if they get anything wrong. There's nobody to protect them, ladies and gentlemen. This is the thing. They think the care system needs reworked as well. Scotland said that Scotland and the SNP, their mission actually, funnily enough, it's the inversion of the truth. They wanted Scotland to be the best place to grow up for children. What a crock of shit, ladies and gentlemen. What a crock of shit. They don't want the best place for a child to grow up. They want it to be the worst place for a child to grow up. and they're fostering this environment where children can be put in care, taken away from their parents, and then abused. And then if you speak out against it, there's hate crimes there to come down and tackle you. Classic. They've sewn it up, ladies and gentlemen. It really is that bad. We need to destroy these rings and get back to normality. Right, guys, we're almost at 500 viewers. Please do share the broadcast again. We've got a great show coming up. We've got John Watt joining us at the back of 10 to talk about the Jackie Baillie's conspiracy, anti-vax conspiracy claims. We'll talk about that briefly. What we're going to do. What I'll do is I'll take that off the screen now. Oh, no, I don't want to make it. We've got to remove that. There we go. I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have a trip over to Ireland. So what's happening in Ireland? Oh, well, let's get some videos to show you. Well, I'll lay out the common theme, the common thing happening right across the UK, right across the West, right across Ireland, right across the Eurozone. We're bringing in migrants and we're putting them in hotels in small villages where they're then going to outnumber the actual population of the village. What's happening? What is actually happening? And what's happening in Ireland is people are actually protesting against this. People are saying, no, F that. It's not happening in my wee village. My wee village isn't getting turned into a crime-ridden hellhole. That's what they're saying. So let's see how the Irish police are reacting.
Let it go!
Stay back.
Stand back. Lads, for your own safety, stay back. Stay back.
This is war, absolute war on the indigenous population in Ireland. And again, this is just a glimpse into Scotland's future, ladies and gentlemen. The SNP have already told us. The SNP demand more migrants in Scotland. They demand it. They want more. They say, we've got an ageing population. We need migrants. Please, please, please send us the migrants. No, that's not the solution, ladies and gentlemen. That's capitulation. It's what's it? Cloud and Piven. Problem, reaction, solution. They create the problem, they create the action, and they offer the solution, which doesn't suit anyone. Doesn't suit anyone, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. I've got another clip for Ireland as well. The police are being really heavy-handed with the locals here. Really, really disgustingly heavy-handed.
Chaotic scenes here. Pepper spray is being sprayed on women and children. Pepper spray is being sprayed on women and children up here. Pepper spray is being Pepper spray is being sprayed on people. Pepper spray is being sprayed on people up here. Pepper spray is being sprayed on people. Pepper spray is being sprayed on civilians.
Fucking scumbags!
Yeah, watch that. That's good.
He won't pepper spray me. He's not going to pepper spray me.
What the fuck? What's the violence for? I hope I'm passing them.
Don't you threaten to spray me. Don't you threaten to spray me. Don't threaten to spray me.
Fuck you! Scumbag! Hard man! Hard fucking man! Spray women! You fucking joke! You fucking joke! You fucking
Right, so that's enough of that. It was another 10 or 15 seconds, but I'm not going to subject you to this. The thing is, where are the politicians in all this? Have the public been asked if they want this? No. Have the public been asked anything of this nature across the West? Have they been asked? No. It just gets imposed on us. It just gets imposed. So this, again, it's endemic of the globalist takeover, ladies and gentlemen. We're so lucky we've left the euro. We're so lucky. We're so lucky. Again, it will happen to us, but it'll just be happening to a lesser extent, I think. Like, can you imagine this happening in a wee village near you? Can you imagine that? I'll get Jim Ferguson's tweet up as well. Or maybe not Jim Ferguson. I'll get Ezra Levant. Ezra Levant was over in Ireland, such the main man that he is. 2 seconds. I got another clip, I think.
You stand before people and you try and take the High Marines home. We'll never spoil our history and country. I will not submit to it willingly. It's not by any of your fellas.
So as you can see in that clip, there's lots of people, lots of locals coming out and saying, absolutely not. We're not having this. The old man leading the charge and saying, I will not submit. I will not submit. It's what a sorry state of affairs the whole world is in, ladies and gentlemen. What a sorry state of affairs. So that's the situation in Ireland, right? We've got forced migrant camps just imposed on the local towns and villages, and it's just ridiculous. But that's the state of the world now. And from one country to the next, we go to America, where Trump was almost killed. He was millimeters, inches away from death.
And then the worst president in the history of our country took over. And look what happened to our country. Probably 20 million people. And, you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
Moving his hair. Hold. When you're ready. On you. Ready. Move. Up. Move. Go. Up. Hawkeye's here. We ready?
Okay, we are watching live at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania.
What an insane scene that was. And I think the night that happened, every single post on Twitter was Trump assassination attempt. It was everywhere, absolutely everywhere. There was not a single post that had anything else related, but it was only Trump. This is probably the signature moment of 2024. It really is. And I'll tell you what will happen. I'll predict the future. It's not going to be hard to predict the future either. Trump's going to win in a massive landslide. He's going to win in a massive landslide. It's clear as day to anyone that can see it. And they'll probably try to replace Biden before November. They will. But what was best? The best clip of this was Trump's reaction. What an incredible guy. Just simply insane footage. Really is absolutely insane. We're going to go to the comments. We Say It podcast. The Kalergi plan is no longer a conspiracy. This is the thing. When we're talking about conspiracy theories, but that'll be coming up later on the show when we've got John Watt on. We'll see what he's got to say about conspiracy theories. But the replacement migration theory is not a theory. It's left the theory process and it's well into action, ladies and gentlemen. Well into action. You've just seen the pictures in Ireland. You've just seen all the scenes in Ireland. It's almost too much to bear. Right. What else have we got coming up? Ireland's been done. Geez. I look at the list here and I'm like, oh my God, do I really have to talk about this again? In fact, we'll briefly touch on this, actually. Quite funny. Because I've got a plan. I've got a plan to tackle this, ladies and gentlemen. You will hear my plan here. It's an exclusive on the Niall Fraser Show, guys. You will hear my plan on how to tackle the ULEZ fines. You want to hear my plan, ladies and gentlemen? Right, so just to say, right, 6,000 ULEZ fines in the first month. The first month, this is just the Edinburgh Courier, the Edinburgh Evening News, right? This is just Edinburgh. 6,000 ULEZ fines, right? So in amongst the greatest cost of living crisis that we've ever endured, the cost of living crisis that was directly imposed on us by the government, by locking us down and printing billions and billions, causing inflation that just is soar. It was them that caused it, and now we're getting punished for it again. The plebs are being punished for it again. It's if you can't afford a new car, get fined 30 quid. Right, 6,000 fines, 30 quid a pop. That's £180,000 in a single month in fines alone. It's just astonishing. It really is. Just simply astonishing. Right, but my plan. You know what my plan is? Anyone listening to now? We've got 500 plus people listening to now, watching rather. If you end up picking up a ULEZ fine, what I want you to do, a Niall Fraser exclusive, I want you on your fine to write my name on it. I want you to write Niall Fraser on the fine. Niall Fraser says don't pay it. Don't pay it. Say Niall Fraser says don't pay it. And I'll tell you what, when I'm elected into the Scottish Government, I'll reimburse you the fine. I'll give you it right back. I'm going to take. There's no way that they're going to fine the Scottish people 30 quid a pop for having an old car, for driving about their own city under my watch. It's not going to happen. I might even double the money and give you it right back. So you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. The ULEZ fines. If you ever have it, if you ever get one, write my name on it. Write Niall Fraser says no. Niall Fraser says no. I won't be paying it. Send it to me. Send it to me, ladies and gentlemen. Send your fine to me. And I'll get it reimbursed when I'm elected into the Scottish Government. I'll get it reimbursed. They're not doing this to us. They are not doing this to us. Right, let's go to comments. Vote for Niall. Well, if you want, if you are the victim of the ULEZ, certainly vote for Niall. Right, what else is happening now? Again, this really does piss me off. Like, it's beyond a joke. It really is. It's ridiculous. Tell me in the comments, have you fallen foul to any of these ULEZ zones? They're in Edinburgh, they're in Glasgow, they're in Dundee, they're in Inverness. They'll be everywhere. You know why? Because they don't want you travelling. That's why they've nationalised ScotRail. Don't be so daft. Right, let's look at the more papers. We've got the Scottish Daily Express. Most Scots just don't trust the government. Just don't trust the SNP after 17 years of rule. And there was this funny story in Strictly as well. People are getting chaperoned. Fully grown adults are getting chaperoned on the BBC's Strictly Come Dancing. What a total farce we are running here. What a farce. A damning survey lays bare how government has failed to improve the country. You can say that again. They've not got a... The thing is, the SNP does not have a mission to improve Scotland. They do not have a mission to improve in Scotland at all. In fact, they've got the opposite mission. They've got the mission to make Scotland worse. They've got the mission to make Scotland worse. Why? Because then they can point fingers at Westminster and say, we need independence. We need independence. No, we don't need independence. We need our government, our Scottish government, to function correctly, which it doesn't. In fact, they operate against us every turn. They operate against us at every turn. So this by David Walker in the Scottish Daily Express. Most Scots now don't trust the SNP government to work in Scotland's best interests. It has been revealed. It's been revealed. Critics slammed as a damning indictment of 17 years of Nat rule. The Executive's own social attitude survey, SSAS, found people living north of the border were growing angry at their handling. From page 1 of key issues such as NHS, it will cause a further headache for First Minister John Swinney, who is presiding over a warring party and a tired government. A tired government. A tired government. They don't get tired. They're very happy to sit and do nothing. They're the laziest government there is. What are we talking about, tired government? What are they doing? How are they tired? John Swinney, he'll be lucky to survive another few months. He really will. Honestly, the guy is he's radioactive. Nobody wants to vote for this guy. Nobody wants to vote for a party that's headed up by the Nutella and banana man himself. This guy, the guy who architected the curriculum for sexcellence and imported it into our schools, that has now resulted in a generation of kids that are now, they're getting over-sexualized at young ages because of this man. Because of this bald-headed man. It's unbelievable. Again, I'll go back to it. The SNP, the only thing they've got, ladies and gentlemen, they're a PR spin machine. That's it. That's all they can do. Oh, it's Westminster. Oh, it's. You know what? That excuse has totally worn out. It's finished. Their excuse is finishing. We've got a few more comments coming in. Hopefully, a few more weeks left for honest John. Weeks for Scotland. I don't know about weeks. Again, let's look at the figures in the survey. The survey found trust in the country's institutions are in free fall, spurred on by Humza Yousaf's failed leadership. How classic is that? Humza Yousaf, he can't catch a break, that Humza Yousaf. So he can't. In 2023, only 47% of people trusted the Scottish Government to work in Scotland's best interests, with this decreasing from 61% in 2019 and sitting at the lowest level since the survey began. So only about half of Scotland trust that the SNP actually govern in our best interest. The rest of us think that they're governing against us. The whole situation is just purely bonkers, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely bonkers. So we've got John Watt coming up just shortly at the back of 10. We're going to discuss Jackie Baillie's anti-vax conspiracy. Or this headline, rather. I mean, I'm not attributing that to Jackie Baillie, but we're going to go through the paper and we're going to think what John Watt thinks. John Watt being, vaccine injured from the COVID vaccine, I thought it would be prudent to bring him on and talk about this. Because we wonder why. I mean, effectively, this story boils down to vaccine hesitancy. Why are people hesitant to take the vaccine all of a sudden? Wonder what that is. I wonder. That's a beard scratcher, that one. That's a beard scratcher. But before we bring John Watt on, we're going to bring him on by way of introduction of his incredible video where he confronts the Prime Minister, or the then Prime Minister of Great Britain, Rishi Sunak.
Hi, Rishi Sunak. I've got so much to say, but such little time. My name is John Watt, and I'm one of the COVID vaccine injured in this country. I want you to look into my eyes, Rishi Sunak, and I want you to look at the pain, the trauma, and the regret I have in my eyes. We have been left with no help at all. Not only am I in here that's vaccine injured, there's another man over there whose life's been ruined by that COVID-19 vaccine. I know people who have lost legs, amputations. I know people with heart conditions like myself, Rishi Sunak. Why have I had to set up a support group in Scotland to look after the people that have been affected by that COVID-19 vaccine? Why are the people who are in charge, who told us all to do the right thing, have left us all to rot and left me and the thousands and the tens of thousands in this country to rot? Rishi Sunak, look me in the eye. When are you going to start to do the right thing? The vaccine damage payment scheme is not fit for purpose. In Scotland right now, according to the yellow card system, there are over 30,000 people that have had an adverse reaction to that vaccine. And 200 deaths.
John, thank you very much indeed for your question.
It's time for you to start doing the right thing, Mr. Rishi Sunak and the rest.
You've made a really strong point, John. Prime Minister.
Yeah, John, well, I'm very sorry to hear about your personal circumstances, and you said someone over here also seems to have suffered by a similar thing. Now, obviously, I don't know about the individual situation that you're in.
We're silenced.
Well,
on social media and everything.
Okay.
We are silenced. We are the most silenced people in this country.
Silence in the press because my story in the press had to go to the government for comment, and they made the takeover stuff out.
Forgive me both.
I know, I'm happy. No one.
Okay,
John. No one is saying. No one's saying you
yeah. Okay.
I've lost my house, my wife, and a successful career.
And sir, you raised some very valid points. I'm sure. What I've got to say is, though, we haven't got you on microphone, and as you know, we've got to get through this. I'm sure we can raise your points with the Prime Minister at a later date. But in the meantime, Prime Minister, if you cover the issue.
I'm very happy to. So there is a vaccine compensation scheme that's in place, as you alluded to, in the NHS. Obviously, everyone individually will work through their cases. It's difficult for me to comment on anyone's individual case. I'm sure you'll appreciate that. I'm very happy to go and look at the cases, and I'm sure you'll get them to the team here. I mean, I'm very saddened and shocked to hear that you've been silenced by anybody. That is surprising to me. So please do get your details to Stephen and the team, and I will happily take that away. Of course, you should better speak about your experience, what's happened to you. And as I said, we have a compensation scheme in place for that, and I'll make sure that we're working through that. Obviously, I think you'll appreciate it's hard for me to comment on your specific circumstances, just not knowing them, and those things.
Forgive me, sir. We haven't got a microphone on this, so our viewers and listeners won't be able to.
I think the last thing I'd say is, we went through a pandemic like everyone else. At the points when it came to the vaccine, those decisions were always taken on the basis of medical advice from our medical experts to tell us as politicians, who are obviously not doctors, about how best to roll out the vaccine, what was in the public health interest, the priority order, how that should be done, who should be eligible. That was something that the doctors recommended on, and that's something that we followed. Now, obviously, if there are individual circumstances which haven't worked out, then that's why we have the compensation scheme in place, and I'll make sure that we follow up on your cases.
Okay, Prime Minister, thank you. Gents, both of you.
Right, so before we bring John Watt up, I'm surprised Rishi Sunak didn't he burrow himself into the ground with the amount of revolutions that he'd done there. He was spinning around like a ballerina there. Oh, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. What absolute carnage John caused at that, I don't know what you would call that event, a sort of people's hustings or a strange event. But Rishi Sunak, he's such a polished politician, isn't he? So slick. It's like water when they get him wet. Honestly, there's a compensation scheme. There's a compensation scheme. How about a justice scheme? How about a justice scheme for the people who one pushed the vaccines down our throat, then similar to Nicola Sturgeon. I'd really avoided the vaccine chat because I was like, well, just allow people to make their own decisions, right? Until Nicola Sturgeon popped up on my TV screen saying, you're irresponsible for not taking the vaccine. And as a person that had to take the vaccine, I was like, I'm not, how dare you call me irresponsible for not, how dare she? How absolute dare she? It's against the Nuremberg Code to coerce someone into taking a medical procedure. And yet there she is, on her television screens. You're irresponsible if you don't take it. Right. Right, so I'll give a warm welcome to John Watt as he comes up. We're going to be talking about Jackie Baillie's comments. Welcome, John. Welcome
you
to the
doing?
Niall Fraser Show, my friend.
How
Did you like
doing
your
now, Ian?
introduction?
Aye, mate, it was good. I'm just going to sort this camera.
No
out.
worries, you take your time. So, I don't know about you, John, but it would seem to me that there's a vaccine hesitancy in Britain now, or vaccine hesitancy in Scotland. Any idea what that, why that's happened?
I think because the last one they pushed through. It feels like when you're reading that headline, it feels like we went back to 2020. Seems like it's the same kind of propaganda trick that they used. Was it Sage? I believe they kind of used all these tactics in the past. And I think the reason why there is a massive increase in people not wanting to take vaccines anymore is because the last one is handed out never done what it actually said on the tin. All the evidence in plain bloody sight at this point, Niall, you know. And yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's worth actually reading through. Now, my understanding is this isn't actually talking about the COVID-19 vaccine. This one's obviously talking more about, is it whooping cough?
No, this is talking about whooping cough, John. But I mean, I brought you on purposely to talk about why there's such reluctance to take vaccines nowadays. I wonder why that is. Isn't it because that everyone basically knows someone? Everyone at this point knows someone who is injured by the vaccine, the COVID vaccine I'm talking about. And then they're wondering why people are reluctant to take any other vaccine.
Well,
they're thinking,
because when these people push it, they can't, you know, the person that puts the plunger, when they plunger that thing into your arm, they can't guarantee your health back. They don't know what to do when there's an adverse reaction. And the honest answer is they're not interested in trying to figure out how to actually, you know, reverse whatever's been put in your arm. So, you know, the reason why a lot of people are not taking these things, like this woman, as much as she wants to spout nonsense in this newspaper article, because I've got it right next to me just now as well, she's not going to do anything as soon as it goes wrong. She's just going to hit out with, these things are fine and they're saving millions of lives. This is exactly how they're all singing from the same hymn sheet. So she's going to sit here and tell you, there's anti-vaxxers, conspiracy theorists, all this crap. And as soon as it goes wrong, you go back to her and say, well, what are you going to do? Well, she might block you, because that's what Nicola Sturgeon seems to do. And you go back and they're just going to spout the narrative, well, these are rare. When we know from the COVID-19 vaccine, these things aren't rare. And I've seen that she mentions Bill Gates in that article. I don't know, Niall, have you read that article?
I thought that maybe we could read it together, John. A wee bedtime story for the Daily Records. Anti-vaxxer conspiracy blamed as infections erupt. Health chiefs warning about the dangers of social media theories. Oh, they're just theories, ladies and gentlemen. Report reveals parents are failing to vaccinate their kids. Right, so anti-vax conspiracy theories are being linked to a massive surge in whooping cough.
So just to jump in there, Niall, straight away, you know, one thing I'll say is as soon as you take it and it goes wrong, you're instantly labelled an anti-vaxxer and conspiracy theorist straight away. So that's straight off the bat. You know, I've been labelled anti-vaxxer and I took 3 of the COVID-19 ones. And I've been labelled by, who was it, Kevin Maguire on Good Morning Britain. He labelled me an anti-vaxxer, berating it Rishi Sunak on the telly, you know.
I don't think that term can be applied to you, John, because you took free COVID vaccines in good faith.
Yeah.
An anti-vaxxer wouldn't go ahead and take free vaccines. Yeah. So it can't be applied to you. That can't stick on you. So cases of measles have also spiked this year. A Public Health Scotland report said anti-vax sentiment was mentioned by most immunisation coordinators as directly affecting vaccine uptake. Labour's Jackie Baillie said, be wary of social media, which is pushing conspiracy theories. So we turn to page 7 for the full story, John.
So just to go back to, you know, regarding the stats and the measles outbreak, I've heard this patter for over a year now with a measles outbreak. Now, the honest answer is I've not heard anyone getting measles recently. And I'm curious where they're getting the stats from. Is it the same ones that are manipulating the stats from the COVID-19 one? So
sorry. I mean, I reckon what they're doing is well, let's read the article and then we can sort of speculate as to where they're getting their figures from. So, a drop in childhood immunisations is giving cause for concern as rates of whooping cough and measles climb. A new report has found. Health chief cited a number of reasons for the worrying trend, including anti-vax rhetoric spread on social media. By the way, you're not really allowed to spread anti-vax conspiracies on social media, really. I mean, can you just sort of speak to so how is this happening? How are these social media posts getting slipped through the net? I mean, you're not allowed it on Facebook, I'm sure. You'll get taken down straight away. You're not allowed it on YouTube straight away. You'll get labelled. So how these are coming through, I don't know. Public Health Scotland highlighted a number of conspiracy theories that may have contributed to the decline. Their report said anti-vax sentiment was mentioned by most immunisation coordinators as something directly affecting vaccine uptake. The extent of this influence is unclear, but in most cases, though, some specific areas noted that they had specific knowledge of anti-vaxxers and their impact on parents, carers in their local community. Numerous conspiracy theories are brought up by parents or carers when they explain why they don't want their children to be vaccinated. These are often spread through local opinion leaders via social media channels, despite having been disproven. Okay, we'll go back to that one. Examples included the MMR vaccine causing autism, aluminium contained in vaccines being dangerous to children's health, Bill Gates' involvement in the flu vaccine, certain vaccines being developed by particular state actors, and some specific rumours about the rotavirus vaccine. Labour's health spokeswoman Jackie Baillie said vaccination works and has prevented loads of illnesses which could have been fatal. People should be wary of getting information from social media, which is pushing conspiracy theories. We told yesterday how there have been more than 5,000 cases of whooping cough in Scotland so far this year, a huge increase compared to 2021 and 2022, when there was just 4 and 3 cases the entire year. So we can't deny that's a massive rise. 5,000 cases in a year.
But again, where did they get these stats from, you know?
Whooping cough is an acute bacterial disease of the respiratory tract. As of July 10th, PHS revealed there's been 14 cases of measles in Scotland in 2024. There was only 1 case the previous year. Meanwhile, other adults are being urged to look out for invitation letters for the respiratory that's a hard word to pronounce. Syncytial virus, RSV vaccination program. There were more than 1,000 cases of RSV recorded in adults over 75 and over in Scotland last year. RSV is a highly infectious respiratory disease. Dr. Nicholas Finn of the PHS said the launch of the RSV vaccination program marks another significant step towards protecting the health of the population. Right, so we've had this dramatic increase in whooping cough, right? But shouldn't we be looking at what's caused that?
Well, I mean, you've just had a newborn baby, Niall. Do you trust them now?
Well, again, I don't trust certain aspects of the medical establishment at all. My trust has been withered to the point where you're just wondering what you're hearing is actually the truth. You know, well, I mean, to me, you know, they're just a number. The NHS used to be, it felt like you were actually getting care, but now it seems like you're pulling a ticket, right? You're number 50 in the queue, go and get seen, and it's just get people out, in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out as quickly as you can. Where there's no like level of intimate care going on in Scottish NHS. I don't see, unless you're in rural parts of Scotland where it is still quite community based. We'll get this up by Flowery Scotland. He's saying, would rise in whooping cough, measles have anything to do with the increase in immigrants arriving in Scotland? Or is it fake news to scaremonger? Exactly. Aren't there other aspects that are happening in our society that is that's causing this whooping cough increase?
Or is it something else? Is it something
or is it someone else?
Is that a new strain or something, you know? The problem we've got now is, I would imagine the COVID-19 one really has damaged. Now, I don't tend to talk about other ones, but the honest answer is I wouldn't touch another one at this point because I would have to be absolutely stupid at this point to actually inject myself. I won't even give my dog one, right? I won't even give the dog one because I don't even trust the reason why my dog needs one. You know, I always go back to that. You know, you don't see them bloody taking a lion to the vet, do they? And getting a lion bloody a vaccine. So at this point in time, you know, I just won't trust any, and it really is a shame if any of them, and again, I use that word if really strong, actually meant to do their job. Now, when I hear things regarding the Amish community and the studies that were done back in the day with the Amish community, and they couldn't find any odd. I don't know if it was. They said the numbers were really low with autism, or couldn't literally find anyone that had autism in the Amish community. So when you hear these kind of fact, you know, because they're very old school, you know, they don't believe in TV and all that, and you know,
I don't think they believe in any medical interventions at all, John. As in nothing.
Yeah. So when you hear those kind of stats in regards to children, and you know, she mentions aluminium there. What the hell is aluminium doing in these things in the first place? That's one of my questions. I mean, is that meant to be a conspiracy theory? Because these are things
I think that's what I was referenced as. I was saying, oh, there's aluminium in the vaccines. Don't take them as like as an example of a
I've been told these are ingredients that are possibly in. But the problem is as well now again, I can't say that this is 100% fact, but when you hear that the flu one is getting changed over to mRNA, right? The flu one's getting changed into mRNA. Then you're finding that in the child program one, they want to add the mRNA, the COVID one, into that. You know, I believe there's like 33 now in these things. You know, back in the day, me and you probably got about 8 of these things shot into us, but now it's up to like over 30. So it really has muddied the waters, the COVID one, because I don't trust any of them now. Now, to go back to what she's saying, you know, using these words anti-vax or conspiracy nonsense, it just really is propaganda nonsense, mate. It just really is. And I'm actually glad that people aren't taking jags at this point, because I would never want to see a human being going through what I'm going through. What I've said in the past is now, I'm an adult. Right, I can sit here and tell you when I took that thing, you know, instantly the next day didn't feel right and just progressed massively, you know, terrible. Obviously I'm doing a lot better now, but I still struggle. I can tell you that what's happened to me, and I can tell you all my symptoms. A brand new baby right out the wrapper, out the box, mate, out the womb, can't even speak, can't even tell you, mate. So you're just going to assume that child has just been born, and you know, after that. So for me, mate, it's is it a bad thing?
You're absolutely right. I mean, a child can't possibly tell you what's wrong, and this is quite a tense topic, right? Because one,
it's a horrible topic. It's a horrible topic.
Because especially when we're coming to newborn babies, right?
Yeah,
and this is where they're going right after it. They want to scare you as much as humanly possible here, right? Newborn babies are totally vulnerable to these types of things, absolutely vulnerable, and it's probably every parent's worst nightmare.
Yeah, because you're in a situation just now, you know, and let's say there is one that's meant to do its job, and you're sitting here as a parent going, "What am I doing?" Do you know what I mean? Like, what do I do here? I'm in a situation where I've got a perfectly healthy baby right now, but then there's a possibility I can now take my perfectly healthy baby and it could possibly go wrong for it. You know, regarding the COVID one, you know, they've moved the goalpost that much now. You know, they've went through over here to over here to over here. You know, 100% safe and effective, 90%. Did they even use the terminology safe and effective? No. You know, AstraZeneca's getting taken to court. Pfizer's getting taken to court in other countries. You know, there's been plenty of other scandals in the past. So so what is she saying here? Using these words anti-vax and conspiracy theories, I hate to tell people, but the conspiracy theorists are winning at this point in time, because there's more and more people starting to think this way.
Mm-hmm. Well, absolutely. I mean, you're spot on, right? I mean, it's no. It's no anti-vax conspiracy theories that are the cause of this, John. This is what we're going to get to.
It's their incompetence.
It's their incompetence. It's them. They are the victims of their own bullshittery, basically. The way that the whole COVID thing was conducted was diabolical. And the fact that people like you, people like Alex, who were injured, just got silenced immediately. It's incredible that they then have the gall to say, "Oh, it's the anti-vax conspiracy coming back."
And we're still in the same situation where, we're in a worse situation now, Niall, because every single person that was actually meant to represent us, they were supposed to represent the people that have been affected by the COVID-19. We don't have any representatives now. Andrew Bridgen's been lost his seat. Neil Hanvey's lost his seat. I don't even know if Christopher Chope's lost his seat. We don't have anyone in the House in Parliament now. We've had a great reset in Parliament now because we don't have anyone to represent us. So these people have got to look at themselves in the mirror and say, why is this? Well, the reason you're in this situation is because everyone's lost faith, because it goes to show you don't care about the people. There is literally nothing in place when it goes wrong, no help, no support. You can't even talk about it. And when you do get to speak to them, I've sat down with MPs and MSPs before now. Obviously, went toe-to-toe with the Prime Minister. You heard them there on live TV, and he said, I will get in touch with you. Never got in touch with me now. He's not been in touch. So at this point in time, they're just blatantly lying. Do you think
maybe he'll get in touch now that he's got a lot more spare time on his hands, being the opposition leader and not the actual Prime Minister?
The only other one I can maybe try and contact is Farage, but I don't know, because Tyson Farage all said, they would look into these things. So at the end of the day, they've only got 4 seats, but but where we're at was we're still in the same situation, zero help, zero support, and the exact same thing will happen for your child if it goes wrong. So for me now, I wouldn't even touch any of these things at this point. I've still to see the evidence to say that the COVID one saved one single life. I haven't went into the rabbit hole regarding the rest, but it really is for me to put another thing into my body at this point from one of these pharmaceutical companies would be like, if I was to go out the back, mate, and put my wee dog there, wee Tyson, you've met him, right? If I went and put an electric fence around the garden, and he went up and nipped that, I'm pretty sure it would take him one time and he wouldn't go back, he wouldn't go near it again, which goes to show, So would I touch another one? No, because I'm not stupid at this point. I already fell for your bull nonsense before. I'm trying not to swear here.
This is the thing. It's the Niall Fraser Show, John. Swear all you want. Say what you want.
Well, I fell for the bullshit before. I'm not going to fall for it again. It's that simple. And once you see it, you just can't unsee the rest. I'm watching. We've had a really interesting week. Regarding Trump, and then obviously, what I seen in Ireland. That was sickening in itself. And now we've got this nonsense here. It's just the world's going. It's getting worse and worse now at this point.
And there seems to be no blockages, no roadblocks being put in place to stop this. It's just rumbling on.
And there's no accountability. There's no accountability regarding it. And my brain fog's kicked in there, which is wonderful. But it's just the fact. It's either this woman here is really misinformed, which means that she's not really doing her job because she's meant to be a health secretary. Is that correct? She doesn't understand, who's taking the blame for the COVID ones at this point? MHRA?
No one. No one's taking the blame.
June Reen was the one that passed this back. She's handed her notice in. So they're all getting away scot-free.
Mm-hmm. So I seem to recall that most of these vaccine manufacturers during the COVID time, they had explicit instructions that they could not be targeted for legal action after the fact.
Yeah.
And what was it? Pfizer said, we're not releasing the information about COVID for 75 years. We're going to lock it up for 75 years. As if they are like some sort of the arbiters of information that, we're just going to put this document in a vault for 75 years, like a time capsule, John. Like, we're going to open the time capsule and see how hard we've been fucked in 75 years. It's actually that nuts.
Well, they're clever, aren't they? They said it would take 75 years to collect the data. That's what they said. But, you know, and then the 50,000-page data dump came out with all the adverse reactions. Like I say, you know, for me, mate, I'm actually glad I'm seeing these kind of stories at this point saying that there's a rise in people having hesitancy. Good. Maybe I've started doing my job. Maybe people are starting to see my stories just to say, look, no guarantee you get your health back. Nobody will help you. The person that puts it into your arm, they don't want to take responsibility. MPs, MSPs, you know, fucking, you know, none of them want to take accountability. They all just want to say, oh, here, take this thing. As soon as it goes wrong, don't want to know, mate. Don't want to know.
I mean, the COVID years are really just
it's snowballing, mate. It's just snowballing.
Yeah. It's not only has it reduced faith in vaccines in general, it's reduced faith in government in general, and any narrative they try to spin us.
And the doctors, nurses, NHS, it's snowballed into zero trust. Like I said, mate, it is really scary because let's say these things actually do their job. We're at a point in time where we're going to say, you know, especially me, you know, if I become a parent, I'm going to sit here and go, do I really want to take that risk for my child?
Mm-hmm.
You know, why is aluminium in these things? You know, these are ingredients. She mentioned Bill Gates there, you know. This was all proven to be that Bill Gates was heavily invested in the past. Now, I don't know if he's heavily in with this jag that she's talking about, these vaccines she's talking about. But again, you're using conspiracy theories when this was all fact. Bill Gates made a fortune, mate.
Right, so Bill Gates has been at investor conferences, right? And what does he say? What does he say at investor conferences? Way before COVID, he says, invest in vaccines, John. Invest in vaccines because you're getting a 20-to-1 return on your money.
And not only that, he said, if we do a good job with vaccines, you know, we can depopulate the earth by about 2 to 3 billion people. I mean, what kind of sales pitch is that?
And we're talking about carbon being reduced.
And unfortunately, I hadn't seen all this until this happened to me. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, the guy's a megalomaniac. He absolutely is. And I think his new project is to put some big screen up or a big cloud up to block out the sun. So, I mean, it's right out of The Simpsons or something, John. I think this guy is a megalomaniac psycho and it needs to be dealt with. You wouldn't want him anywhere near government policy, that's for sure.
I think the planes do a good job of that one, mate.
Well, it's been great having you on the show. We're going to have... I'm going to have maybe John for another couple of minutes before we go. I'll get you on to about 1:30, and then we're going to finish up the show shortly after that.
What are we going to do now? What are we going to do to go forward to change Scotland? Because that's where I'm at this point, mate. I really want to, you know, I don't know where you are politically or anything like that. I want to champion someone, mate. Look, you've got a good heart, you've got a good drive, mate. You really could be a good face for Scotland. My question to you is, my man, where are you going to be? Because I just feel we need a new political system put in place.
It's not the political system, right? It's the people that are in.
We need a new political party.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, the SNP are a busted flush, right? They're finished, right? We've got the Scottish Tories that Megan Gallagher's trying to take over and renovate them. The Scottish Tories are done as well. They're another busted flush. So we're down 2 parties here in Scotland. The Lib Dems are worse. They're as much use as a chocolate fire guard. They're totally useless. And you know, the Lib Dems, they're the ones that are taking, at least the UK party, they're taking money for the manufacturers of the puberty blockers, and then at the same time promoting all this transition stuff. So we can't trust the Lib Dems. Labour, I mean, straight away they're saying, Keir Starmer asked, to my memory, during the campaign, we're doing a dual prong approach. We want to get net zero. Which is a fool's errand in the first place, right? We want to transition for net zero. So we're still going to champion oil and gas while we transition away from it. And then straight away, they bring in Ed Miliband, of all people, the bumbling buffoon guy, to just put a banning order of all new oils, North Sea oil drilling. Just killing industry, say, for a generation.
If you know, Keir Starmer, I've already seen him in power. You know, he's in power now. I've already heard him talk about his goals for 2030, you know, which is written in a book now. In case we didn't know, you know, it's written in a book with this 2030. They keep going on about it, you know, but they keep subtly introducing it into their speeches. But I mean, let's be honest, like I say, we've got a year and a half to try and change it here. Now, you know, you've got a hell of a lot of following. I don't want to be a politician. I really don't.
No.
I just want to champion someone at this point. I just feel like it needs to be a brand new start. I feel like we need new manifestos and stuff. If we have nobody's going to vote SNP at this point, 100%. Alba feels like we're getting the dregs of the SNP, to be honest with you. It feels like, you know, I've seen the videos where after what happened at the election, you know, they're all sitting there and they're all fighting amongst themselves. They're all shouting about, you know, she done this and she done that. The question is, if you hadn't lost your seat, would you be sitting saying all this stuff? No, you wouldn't. You've been sitting there, mouth shut, and just taking your 90 grand a year. So it goes to show you, these people really don't have morals until it goes wrong. You know?
Well,
so, and if we have a complete Labour takeover from, you know, down south into Scotland, it really is scary times now.
I think for the future of Scotland, right, and feel free to disagree with me here, right, but the story of the last election was reform. One, they've given people in England mostly a credible alternative. They're saying, no, Labour are useless. Remember back in 2001 where they dragged us into the Iraq conflict, Tony Blair? Everyone, I've not forgotten that. No, nor is anybody else, right? Labour, they were just seen as like a protest vote up here against the SNP. It wasn't that they were offering any change. People didn't know what change they meant. And people still don't know what change they meant. They don't know, right? So the story of the last election was reform and their astronomical rise to 5 MPs. What, you know, they won one.
The amount of votes and the amount of seats doesn't add up to me. I mean, I'm not really into politics, but the amount of votes they got and the amount of seats doesn't really.
Well, that's the electoral system that sort of holds the two-party system in place. The first past the post when you go, it's just we spin the wheel and it's red or blue. Whereas actually, it's astounding to me that Nigel Farage and the Reform have managed to even win 5 seats in the first past the post system, John. That's the real story, right? But when we look at that through the Scottish results, they're sort of polling, or they're sort of gaining about 7 or 10% across Scotland, right? Which gives them about 8 or 10 MSPs in 2026, right? So we're looking at a Reform Party in Scotland getting maybe 8 or 10 MSPs. It's unsure at the moment if there's going to be a Reform Scotland Party, John. If that was to get the back of the Nigel
I still feel that Scotland needs its own actual party rather than joining with Reform. You know,
well, this is the thing. It won't be. It's similar to the Tories. The Tories up here and the Tories down there. They're separate parties. You know, it's the Scottish Tories, and then it's just the Tories. I think there is a separation, although it's very minor. There is a separation.
I think the thing is as well, when it comes to Scottish politics, the one thing that divides all these parties is this independence thing. Now, you know, mate, I voted for independence back in 2014. Where I'm at now, massive question mark over my head because I couldn't trust them. Obviously, you're a unionist, you know, you want to stay. At the end of the day, mate, I think there should be a party there that just says, that's not my choice, that's not Niall's choice, that's your choice as the Scottish people. That's the only answer, mate.
People won't like this, but the actual answer is, well, let's wait a generation. Alex Salmon says it's a once in a generation vote, which it was, which it should have been. So that was in 2014, 10 years ago. We still got another 11 or 12 years to wait. A human generation, according to Google, is 22 years, right? 22 years after 2014 to 2036. That's when Scotland should have, that's the earliest time in which Scotland would be able to have another referendum, to me. So I think in order to sort of improve Scotland, we need to get away from the constitutional argument. I know you're right in what you're saying. It is up to the people. Of course it is. If the people demand it, that happens, right? Yeah. But we had that vote. It was 55 to 45, a 10% swing. It's no negligible. and it was, it's hundreds of thousands of people who were voted here. It was a massive turnout.
I think it was the biggest. I think it was 86% of people voted for that. I mean,
giant, absolutely giant.
Of course it was. But again, there's so many other issues to fix before the independence discussions even needed at this point. That's the only thing that the SNP are holding on to. They're dangling this dead carrot in front of everybody, and they're following it. Look, your independence is out the window. It really is out the window. I just feel there has to be a change. Year and a half now, it's not that far away. Are we going to sit here, all sitting here, negative and going, I'm going to need to put an X against a box again, and it's going to be again, like, these people, this thing here, do you know what I mean, that's telling you this nonsense. This can't happen in 2026 beyond, mate. We really need to all come together now. Like I said, I'm behind you, you're behind me, mate, and I think we can make a change.
We're all pulling in the same direction. This thing, John, and that's the difference. I think we've managed. The dissidents of Scotland have managed to club together and managed to start pulling in the right direction. Right, it's just whether or not we can get enough pull behind us in order to get a few seats. Even if, just say, for instance, I was to join Reform, right, and that's. On balance, they're probably thinking, oh, Niall, he's a controversial figure. He tried to brick up a sexual health clinic. Hold on a minute there. It was a child mutilation centre. It was a rainbow indoctrination shrine that I tried to brick up. I didn't mention abortion not once. Not once did I mention abortion at that place. And yet I'm tarred with the same brush, right? We might not be able to touch Niall. Oh, he's a bit controversial. So,
controversial is what's winning, but controversial is what actually seems to be right.
Well, again, John, I've been vindicated time and time again. Almost every single time. I mean, they've shut the Sandyford. They've stopped giving out puberty blockers. Right? It's not down to me alone. It's down to like this collective weight against them and the weight of evidence against them. But again, I've just been vindicated time and time again.
Look what happened after that election that happened there. There, John Swinney, right out the gates, sitting there this is showing us how basically crap we are. And he's sitting saying, it's time we start listening to Scottish people. Tough. Mate, you've had your chance. You've not listened to us. You don't want to listen to us. If you listen to us, you'll be pulling down all those LEZ everywhere. You'll be pulling that C19 Jag from the bloody shelves. You'll be actually looking at the real data. There's just so many issues that are going on in this country. And my worry is it going to snowball from Ireland into our country? Or is it because Scottish people can't actually see what's going on that we're actually going to allow this?
Well, the SNP have already stated that they want more migrants. We've not got enough, they're saying. Even though our NHS is overloaded, our waiting times have never been higher, our housing stock is absolutely crumbling. Right, so again, just getting back to where we're going to go in the future, John, right? We need to have a united front. I'll be doing some diligent work in the background. I've got some insanely good policy ideas that will have to be done. And one of those policy ideas, ladies and gentlemen, if I can get the old paper, I'll just lean to the side a bit. If you get a ULEZ signed, John, right? If you get a ULEZ, I know you've got a brand new Tesla. It's not going to affect you. Right?
No, mate, I've got an old Audi, mate.
If you've
I've already had two of these, mate. I've had two of these.
Well, didn't pay it, John. I'm telling you now, don't pay it. Right on the fine, Niall Fraser says don't pay it. And what I'll do, when I'm elected, I'll get your money back if they try to fine you. In fact, I'll double it.
It's not even 30. It goes 30 quid and then doubles, mate. It goes 30, 60, and every time you go in, I believe it increases. Yeah. It just doubles every time. It's just an absolute joke, mate. And, when I started to look into what these cameras are meant to be really for now, you don't want to go too far into the rabbit hole, but yeah.
I reckon these cameras at one point will just have a machine gun mounted on top of it. It'll be like, Niall Fraser, you are in zone 5. You are a zone 4 citizen. Return to your zone immediately or you will be blasted. That's what's going to happen, John. I'm telling you. It's all this UN indoctrination, the UN doctrine, which is to zone people off, these 15-minute neighbourhoods. We've all heard about these.
They're smart now because they've called it 20-minute in Scotland. So 20-minute neighbourhood, 20-minute livable neighbourhood. I think Glasgow's 20-minute livable neighbourhood, and Edinburgh. It's in your city council already, but they'll paint it the dream like they done with the Jag, mate. They'll paint it the bloody dream and make it, you've got Marks and Spencer's on your door and you've got a hospital. They're painting you the fucking dream, but really they're painting you the best prison and on earth.
It's, the only difference between the 15-minute city, John, and the 20-minute city is that the cage is a bit bigger. Or maybe in Scotland it just takes longer to get to anywhere. That you need an extra 5 minutes.
It's all in plain sight. I heard somebody say that, they talk about the book and all that, the Great Reset, and people go, oh, what? And then so they wrote the fucking book on it now. There's a book there that says this.
There is no doubt in my mind, right, that even society is going to get almost, it's going to have irrevocable sort of effects happen to it with the advent of AI. And we have to put stumbling blocks in place of this in Scotland already, right? To safeguard people's jobs. See all your people that work in offices, John.
Yeah.
See all the next few years, they're all gone. They're all gone. They won't be working in offices anymore. There'll be AIs doing the work of them.
Prime example, right? So see how when I get hacked, everything I mean get hacked, right? So my big Twitter account, if you check out my new Twitter account, bring the noise _X, right? My big account, which was 55,000 followers, right? Prime example of AI, mate. You cannot speak to a human being, okay? As an AI program, Elon Musk, he's made out this wonderful app, everybody believes, right? He's made out this app, and when it goes wrong, you cannot speak to a human being. You can't even pick up the phone and get a human being on the end of the phone, mate. It's AI. You're emailing AI, and it's giving you a response, mate. This AI is actually the worst thing in the world. I hate now, Niall, that everything's booked on your phone. I'm one of these guys that picks up the phone to book things.
No.
Can I get a game? I'm one of these. But now it's AI, and prime example as well of cash, mate. One of the things as well, I've got a bloody PlayStation now. That account get hacked. So my PlayStation 5 even get hacked as well as my bank. Now, I've got this PlayStation 5, which is a diskless device, right? So I got this 4-5, right? It's a diskless device. This is a prime example. The disk represents cash. My account gets hacked. I can't access any games on there. I can't play anything on that PlayStation because it's been hacked. So I'm trying to now get into PlayStation and say, I can't get into my games. I've got like 200-300 quid's worth of games on there, and I can't get into play it. And they're writing back, oh, we need this, we need that. And I'm like, it's been bloody hacked. They're wanting serial numbers of my and I'm like, but again, if I had a disc one, mate, I could be playing it all day.
Or you could have just got another one and just popped it in. The thing is, sometimes the technology advances are having these crazy effects on us, right? But truly, John, what's going to happen is I reckon 90% of all the office jobs in Scotland or across the whole world will be AI automated at this point. There's no need to have a receptionist. There's no need to have somebody send an email.
It's already happening in the big supermarkets now. Yeah. You go in there now, the staff's probably halved. You go in at night. I'm quite a late shopper, but you go in at night. There'll be one person on the till. You'd maybe get another 10 till, and everybody else is doing the self-service. Sometimes at night they just shut it off at 7 o'clock. The self-service checkout desk is honestly, I hate it. I don't even.
It's soul destroying, John. Absolutely soul destroying.
And this is the thing: these kind of jobs now, were not created like. There is people of an age that work there, right? But it was mainly for like young people to get into work, and it was a really good thing for young people and people at retirement age and stuff. This is really going to do that. These systems that are in place at Tesco, they're doing people out of jobs. And I say that to people when and they're sitting there going, oh, they're the self-service. And I went, I'm not interested. And I went, how? I went, that's doing you out of job. Do you not realise that? I says, I go and use that. I says, that's going to just take away your job. And these are problems, mate. They're not solutions.
No. Right, John, we're going to bid farewell to you. I can't thank you enough for coming on. We've went we've went a wee bit longer than usual.
Just
45 minutes.
Just a quick plug, mate. If anyone's
On you go.
interested, the Bring the Noise podcast on Spotify. Like I say, Niall, you've been on it. My YouTube one's there, Bring the Noise podcast as well. The latest one was just a week ago on Sunday with our ex-paramedic speaking out what he's seen during the pandemic and stuff. You know, I'll keep doing what I do now, you know, which is try to raise awareness on the harms of these things. But look, mate, to go back to this article earlier on, you know, I can't really speak on other JAGs, but to show people why there is a massive hesitancy to take these things is because these people do not care. That is the honest. You're left on your own, and you know, you speak out. You're an anti-vax, you're a conspiracy theorist. The mainstream media are not going to help you. And that's a dying breed. That mainstream media is dying, mate. We both know that.
Well, this is why we're here right now. We've got decent numbers tonight, 750 on X. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and a mere 2 on YouTube. What absolute crock of nonsense from YouTube is useless. X, it's where it's at. We've got 750
you need to get Rumble,
on
mate.
X,
Rumble's going to be our next one, mate.
Rumble's again, John. It's one of these things where you didn't want to place. I mean, I'm sure a person like you're very prideful about your content, and you spend a lot of time in your content, and you didn't want it put somewhere, right, where they're just going to say, "Oh, no, that's useless. We're going to take that down." Right, and it's not going to happen to me. I'm not going to put all my content on somewhere just for them to say, "Hold on a minute, that's not for us." So I think I'm probably putting my eggs in the X basket now. But I mean, Rumble is another one that I'm looking into. You know,
yeah. The only other thing, like I say, mate, people don't actually realise the time and effort I put into my videos. I actually will probably take this interview that we've done, and I'll probably have to watch it, and I have to mute it all, mate. I need to take the word V out, and it can take me 8 hours to do a 2-minute clip because you have the amount of editing, which is ridiculous.
We've not made it easy for you tonight either, John.
Nah,
that's a 16-hour job this time. Right, so thanks everyone. If you don't already follow John Watt, be careful, don't follow his other Twitter account that's been hacked. Follow see that hang along on x.com, bring the noise _X. Is that the right one?
That's that. Mate, the thing is, it's turned into a Taylor Swift.
No, I've seen that because the producer ended up sending a message to she said it was what's going on with this guy's account.
I've turned into a pure Taylor Swift fan, man. I'm sitting there going, this is ridiculous. People think it's me, like you, mate. I'm like, do you think I'm going to promote this idiot? You know,
as if Taylor Swift needs any more promotion. You know what I mean? Right, John. If you don't already follow him, get him done. He's been an amazing guest, and again, he is doing the Lord's work, raising awareness about vaccine injuries, and again, sort of try to get finance for the vaccine injuries as well, because this is another thing. A lot of them have been compensated. A lot of them don't even meet the threshold. So, John, just quickly before you go, so what's the threshold? You have to lose 50% mobility, is that right?
60% disablement. Yeah, so you have to be 60% disablement. It's not an easy thing to go through, and you have to take all your you have to go and get your medical notes from birth, so that takes about 4 or 5 months. I've not submitted mine yet now, and the reason being was because I was told to actually wait until the Prime Minister was to get back to me, because I get told, well, you know, when Sunak was supposed to speak to me, I was supposed to submit it, and I held off. So now I'm going to need to submit it with no Prime Minister or anyone backing me. I'm just going to need to throw it in, and they're going to come back now, because they will go through, you know, have you been on antidepressants in the past? They'll use everything against you except from the one thing that caused it, which was the JAG.
Right, again, thanks very much to John, everyone. He's been a fantastic guest. Get him followed on x.com, bring the noise. That was John Watt, everyone, the fantastic John Watt of the Vaccine Injured Group. Again, great discussion about the vaccines. Jackie Baillie, I think, just stepped over the mark there. Maybe not stepped over the mark. I think she just doesn't understand the whole... it's almost like she doesn't understand the sequence of events here, as if we didn't just go through the whole COVID pandemic and we were forced on these vaccines, and then it all transpired that these were injuring people. People like John, people like Alex Mitchell, who lost a leg, had to get a leg amputated, ladies and gentlemen. And yet she doesn't understand why people are hesitant to take the vaccines. I understand it's whooping cough. I understand it's about newborn babies. I understand. Of course I do. It's one of these things that's very, very sensitive. And if you're listening to this now, please do get your own medical advice. Don't listen to me. Don't listen. Seek your own medical advice. So with that, we're actually approaching these numbers. We're almost at 800 viewers, guys. I can't thank you enough. We've only episode 3 of the Niall Fraser Show, but we're absolutely crushing it. So today we've went from the SNP equalities officer getting jailed for 6 years and 3 years after the fact. He's having to be on community tag, basically, blackmailing and sexually abusing people. The SNP equalities officer. Can you believe? Of course you can believe it. Of course you can believe it. And then police in Scotland being paid. Police in Scotland being paid to attend pride parades, pride marches. We're getting nice wee rainbow badges mocked up, getting time off, getting a day off in order to attend a parade. What a total nonsense. We've got crimes here that are going unsolved. They won't even bother attempting to solve any crimes. We've had a look at the globalist takeover in Ireland. We've had all the videos, the Garda or the Gardaí, I don't even know what they're called, the police in Ireland, being really, really heavy-handed with protesters who are simply saying, hold on a minute, we don't want 300 migrants housed in our village that's got 200 people. You know what I mean? It's simply outrageous. And nobody's asked these people. Nobody's asked them. It's just been imposed on them. We had the more money going to Ferguson Marine, guys. 14 million going to Ferguson Marine. It's absolutely ridiculous. Ridiculous. The same Ferguson Marine that was swallowing up money like a black hole. Like it was sucking in all the money like a black hole, guys. We had a turnaround director. The guy who was set in to turn around Ferguson Marine. He was getting paid £3,000 a day. £3,000 a day. See if I was getting paid £3,000 a day, I would make that job last forever. And if my job was to turn it around, and I'd be finished on my £3,000 a day, if I did turn it around, then you better believe nothing would be getting turned around. If you catch my drift, why? Where's the incentive to turn around? They should have said, if you turn it around, you'll get a bonus. You know what I mean? Instead of giving them £3,000 a day, it's just ridiculous. Honestly, they're so farcical, these guys. And then we had the great John Watt coming on to talk about the vaccine hesitancy there, as you've just seen. Right. And of course, how can we forget? We had the fantastic Robert McIntyre winning the Scottish Open, which I had the pleasure of witnessing it firsthand. I followed Robert McIntyre around the Renaissance Club personally. I watched his first 9 holes, then I had to nip back to the car to get a jacket because it was getting absolutely cold. And I come back and I followed on the rest. And I was on the 18th tee when him and his caddy were teeing off. And I mean, see, there's something weird about golf tournaments. There really is, especially if everyone was rooting for Robert in that tournament. Obviously, it's in Scotland. He's a Scottish player, but he'd just come off a big win in Canada, and I could just feel that everyone was collectively wanting Robert to win. And you know, every shot he's playing, the first couple of holes were a bit scrappy. Like I'm not going to lie. He was in the rough on the left hand side, and we're looking at in the Renaissance Club. What an amazing golf course. And having played golf myself, it was terrifying. Try to put yourself behind the shot. Any golfers out there, none of your everyday golfers would be comfortable taking any of these shots. But the guys pulled through, and it was a collective spirit. Every time he was taking a shot, there was so much pressure. I could feel the pressure. And on the opposite side of that, the leader going at the final day, Aberg, he was cool as a cucumber for the first 9 holes. Honestly, he was like the picture of confidence. I thought he was just going to walk it. It was just incredible. But what's coming up tomorrow, guys? The Open over in. I think we've still got the old picture. Where is it? Let me see if I can get it. Over in the West Coast. Over in Troon. We've got the Scottish not the Scottish Open. We've just heard that. It's the Open in Troon, Royal Troon tomorrow. It starts. Robert McIntyre, I don't know what his tea time is, but I'd get up early if you want to watch it. And good luck to the man. He's on such terrific form that I'd be surprised if he didn't make the cut and then the cut into the final day. Right, so because it was titled "The Pride Comes Before the Fall," I'm going to give us a wee joke on the way out, and I'll give us our outro. So a wee final take for me, guys, but I can't thank you enough for coming to the Niall Fraser Show. 830 viewers now. This is just in crazy numbers for a virgin show, ladies and gentlemen. A virgin show. So I'll play you this funny wee clip, and then we'll go to the outro. But thank you very much for joining us on this Wednesday night, and sayonara.
There's so much trans hate in the fucking world. Sorry, there's so much trans hate in the world right now, and I'm so done with it. And pride just means that we are unabashedly happy just to be alive.
Yeah. And where do you personally feel that hate is coming from?
Most places, but especially the government.
And in your own life, where would you say that you feel the hate the most?
I feel like I kind of internalize a lot of the hate, so it feels like it mostly comes from myself at this point, because